Hello there, my name is Thomas O'Regan. Over the last 3.5 years, me and my wife have built an 11 property portfolio. Now, I just wanted to explain to you guys today the difference between buying one high value asset versus two more affordable assets. Now, generally, the cheaper the asset is, for example, if you buy an apartment, that apartment might be $500,000 versus if you buy a house, that house might be $1 million. So effectively, with the same amount of money, if you were to buy two apartments at $500,000, it would equal the same amount of cost to buy one house. And this is just like a simple example I'm trying to demonstrate to you. But the difference between buying two apartments is if you buy two apartments, the cash flow is better. Generally, the cash flow is better. Say, for an apartment, if you're paying $500,000 for the apartment, you might be able to attract a rent, say, around $700 a week. Whereas, and you times that by two, so that would be $1,400 a week income you'd be generating from $1 million purchase over two apartments. Versus if you just bought a house, that house you might only be able to rent out that house for like $800 or $900, but it's still costing you the same $1 million. So if you're trying to build a large portfolio, these sort of things really matter. The cash flow of the portfolio itself really matters because say someone that buys one house that's $1 million, that might be the only investment they will ever be able to buy for a very long period of time because they will be totally capped out by the banks. They won't have any more borrowing capacity. Whereas if instead they bought two apartments for $500,000, they would have increased their income a lot more than if they bought a house. And some people think, the house is going to go up by more in value, which, could be true. It couldn't be true. It just depends what part of the market cycle the property is in. The houses don't necessarily go up faster than apartments, but even if they did, just let's pretend they do. Okay, so if the house that you buy for $1 million is going up by whatever it is, but you instead choose to buy two apartments and you have more cash flow and you have more borrowing capacity because you've increased your cash flow and you can go on to buy a third and maybe even a fourth apartment, then effectively, maybe you're owning $1.5 million worth of property or $2 million worth of property. That can actually be a better position than just owning that one house that people think are growing faster than the apartments. Because the fact is, the person who owns the higher cash flowing properties is able to increase and grow their property portfolio actively faster because and the fact that they have a larger asset base, it almost trumps the fact that the house may be growing at a faster rate because the asset base that the person owned who chose to buy apartments has a larger asset base. I hope I'm making sense here. Say, for example, if you are able to buy four apartments for $2 million, because each time you're buying an apartment, you're increasing your cash flow, getting you more borrowing capacity, and then the apartments are increasing in value by 5% per annum versus a house where you could have just got one for $1 million that's increasing at 7% per annum. Well, the fact is you've got $2 million increasing by 5% per annum, which is $100,000, versus four apartments, 100,000, growing $100,000 a year each year, versus a house which is growing $70,000 per year, just $1 million house. What's better? So actively growing your property portfolio is what's going to matter at the end of the day if you want to grow a large asset base, and it definitely helps if you're acquiring properties to be focusing on cash flow if you're looking to grow a large property portfolio. Hopefully this helped, guys, and leave a comment if you have any questions about growing a property portfolio. See ya, bye.